नमस्ते, वेलकम टू प्रिया की कक्षा। प्रिया की कक्षा में आपका स्वागत है। In India, startups are the flavor of the season. According to Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, the success rate of startups in India is relatively higher than the rest of the world, aided by a number of initiatives undertaken by the centre to facilitate the expansion of the Indian startup ecosystem. These initiatives include Funds for Startups (FFS), Startup India Seed Fund Scheme (SISFS), and Credit Guarantee Scheme for Startups (CGSS), which extends support to startups at various stages of their business cycle. The government also implements flagship annual exercises and programs including States Startup Ranking, National Startup Awards, and Innovation Week, which play an important role in the holistic development of the startup ecosystem. But, as is often the case, there is still some gap between policy making and ground reality. Anand Mahindra recently tweeted that over 90% of all Indian startups fail. This is backed up by my own personal experience of close to 27 years of working closely with businesses of all kinds in India, from MSMEs to service providers. First as a market researcher, then as a business coach. Not more than half of all Indian startups survive 5 years. 20% fail by the end of the first year. 30% fail within 2 years. And the failure rates by the end of the 5th year stand at close to 50%. This is backed up by factual data from Traction, which reveals that Indian startups faced a challenging past year, with 2,404 of them shuttering in 2022, more than double the 1,000 or more that had shut shop in the previous year. A cursory glance at the reasons for the failure of Indian startups shows that the Achilles heel that brings down many of them is directly or indirectly related to a failure to generate sustainable revenue and profits. As a successful startup entrepreneur myself, I can tell you from personal experience that the first 5 years of any startup journey is comparable to a stint in the combat school of the Indian Armed Forces. More than your ability, it is your mental strength, adaptability, surviving on a lean budget without losing your josh, goal orientation, and a refusal to accept that failure is final, which determines if you'll survive or drop out. Passing this Agni Pariksha buys you an entry pass into the treacherous, competitive bazaars of Naya Bharat. Coming from a business background or earning a degree in business management is no guarantee that you will make the grade as a successful entrepreneur in Bharat. Both of them equip you with the framework, the concepts, and the rules with which you play the game. But to bring your A game to the table every single time, you need to think on your feet. Have Jugaad Buddhi. See the bigger picture while working out its finer details, and hold on to your business vision with confidence and clarity. So why are most startups unable to do this successfully? I'll illustrate the 4 main reasons for this using real life examples of startup entrepreneurs whose identities I've masked. Let's assume that all 4 of them started their business journey as RERA certified realtors in 2016. Their job involved arranging the sale, renting, or management of homes, land, and buildings for owners in Pune, Maharashtra. Quite suddenly, on the evening of 24th of March 2020, the Government of India ordered a nationwide lockdown for 21 days, limiting the movement of the entire 1.38 billion population of India as a preventive measure against the COVID-19 pandemic. This and subsequent lockdowns caused a disruption in the business cycle of all 4 entrepreneurs, since it impacted the demand for commercial as well as residential spaces in the real estate market of Pune. The festive season, which was expected to see a surge in demand owing to Gudi Padwa, Yugadi, Akshay Tritiya, and Chaitra Navratri, which are considered to be auspicious occasions for launching new projects and also buying new properties, was no longer the same. In the housing market in Pune, developers were focusing on completing the existing projects instead of new project launches. With the number of inquiries slowing down, share market being impacted, and a generally slow economy, realty was no longer a viable business proposition for all four startup entrepreneurs. They were faced with two stark choices. One, diversify the business portfolio, or two, perish. The way these four entrepreneurs dealt with this situation illustrates why so many Indian startups fail. Startup entrepreneur number 1 is Manish Gupta, the entrepreneur who doesn't want to change. Manish has borrowed heavily from his extended family and circle of friends to fund his business in lean times. The dues are now being collected and he has pawned his wife's jewelry to pay off some of the debtors. But the situation is by no means over. His realty business is no longer sustainable, and in spite of knowing this fact, Manish has just turned down an offer from his brother-in-law to become a junior partner in his successful and rapidly growing cloud kitchen business chain. Manish is happy with what he is doing as a real estate agent. Despite the consequences and knowing that this decision to continue in his present business is clearly unprofitable and extremely destructive to his family, Manish is unwilling to close down his realty business. He enjoys it far too much and feels he has a natural advantage here, not to mention a good business network that he has built up over the years. There is not much that can be done to get him to change. If you know such people and want to help them, the best thing to do is get them to hire a business coach so they can hopefully find a reason to want to change. Startup entrepreneur number 2 is Bilal Ahmed, the entrepreneur who doesn't realize he has a problem. Bilal recognizes that his business is not turning profits, and unlike Manish Gupta, he wants to change his present business reality. But though Bilal wants to change his business prospects, he doesn't really understand what's wrong with the way he runs his realty business. In fact, he thinks his business is perfectly on track to success. Bilal Ahmed is so firm in his belief that he is a successful realtor that it's blinding to what is obvious to most people. He is deep in debt. The new project launches he was working on have seen a fall of almost 25% this past festive season. Most of the home buyers who are his target customers belong to the working class category. Many of these prospective buyers are not certain about their jobs. This is impacting their buying decisions as they are unable to bear an added liability and the burden of EMIs after buying a new property. But Bilal is resisting family and peer pressure to close down his realty business and instead focus on growing his wife's successful online fashion retail business. He acts as if he knows better and actually gives everyone else advice on what to do. For Bilal Ahmed to change, he'd have to really raise his level of self-awareness and acknowledge his problem objectively. Who knows how deep this issue goes or how much of his daily life it affects? We may think it's a simple problem, but it seems to be quite complex as these issues often tend to be. Bilal is frustrated at not being able to help himself. He believes he's an intelligent man who has all the information he needs to be able to make his realty business a success and is determined to do it now. There's a lot of research linking denial to a lack of awareness about oneself and one's life situation. This is a characteristic of people who struggle to change. And without the knowledge of what the problem truly is, Bilal has been unable to succeed so far. He has greatly underestimated the number of business changes he needs to make. This situation can easily be remedied by professional business coaching. Startup entrepreneur number 3 is Sartaj Singh, the entrepreneur who believes he can't change. Ever since the economy began to pick up, Sartaj Singh has found himself outcompeted by newer entrants in the realty market of Pune. Being clueless digitally, He is forced to depend on outsiders for his online marketing, lead generation, and search engine optimization. He feels as if he has lost his independence. Sartaj's life is extremely difficult given that his business has posted losses now for 3 quarters in a row. He is acutely aware that his digital inexperience and poor business processes are the problem. Sartaj isn't looking to make a change. He is resigned to the fact that he's got too many issues that cannot be solved by him, that his days as a realtor are over. He feels that he could have prevented this 2 years ago, but he was too stubborn, old and dumb. Now look what it's got him into. This might sound like a cliche, but there is overwhelming scientific evidence that you need to believe you can change to be able to change, at least a little bit. Sartaj seems to have resigned himself to living out the rest of his days like this. You'll notice there's a sense of helplessness with him. He seems to feel that he's just too far gone at this point. Any person who tries to offer him a solution ends up overwhelming Sartaj Singh. When most of us are offered scary information about our business that is easily preventable, through our behavior we demonstrate that we are motivated to make a change. However, if someone like Sartaj Singh, who has tried and failed to change many times before, is offered the same information, he could lose his sense of agency. Agency is the subjective feeling of control over our actions and their consequences. With this loss of agency comes a loss of motivation. People like Sartaj Singh could end up feeling like his future behavior may not translate to business success because his past behavior hasn't translated to success today. What can help people like Sartaj Singh is sustained and committed business coaching that is both compassionate and no nonsense. Startup entrepreneur number 4 is Ryan DeCosta, the entrepreneur who is anxious, worried and uncomfortable with change. Unlike his other 3 peers, Ryan is ready to launch his new online shoe retail business. All his ducks are lined up in a row. His product range, sourcing, costing, funding and go-to-market strategy is ready. But Ryan is delaying the launch of his new venture by giving reasons about why he is yet to fully exit his sinking realty business. For people like Ryan, his old business implies familiarity, safety and security. Like a warm, familiar embrace, this comfort zone is both encouraging and confining. This is often the case when entrepreneurs are required to learn new business skills. Even though they enjoy the process of learning, when the time comes to step out of the older comfort zone and step into the new but not yet comfortable zone, they choose the older set. Their comfort zone is a behavioral space where all their activities fit into a routine and pattern that gives them comfort and a state of mental security. They benefit in obvious ways by this: less stress, less anxiety and more comfort. However, entrepreneurs like Ryan DeCosta who wish to be successful need to be gently but firmly pushed out of their comfort zone into the zone of optimal anxiety when it comes to trying newly acquired skills. This is why the importance of a business coach who can push entrepreneurs into implementation of newly acquired skills cannot be undermined. Acknowledging and wisely deciding when to embrace and when to break through boundaries is critical to career and life successes. After all, just outside our comfort zone lies a zone of higher productivity and higher accomplishment. Comfort zone के आगे जीत है. These are 4 simple scenarios in which your startup could fail in the bazaars of Naya Bharat. They include the entrepreneur who doesn't want to change, the entrepreneur who doesn't realize he has a problem, the entrepreneur who believes he can't change, and the entrepreneur who is anxious, worried and uncomfortable with change. At the end of the day, it all begins and ends with you. The type of person you are is reflected in your business. To improve your business, you must first improve yourself. It's pertinent to add a small disclaimer here. This content has been a vast oversimplification in order to make my point. I am a sales and marketing coach and a student of behavior change. By no means do I see myself as an expert. So please take this video with a grain of salt. Something encouraging to notice with all 4 people we've discussed is that their inability to change is extremely subjective. It all starts with the subjective way they represent the problem in their minds. It's the way they experience the situation and themselves, and not necessarily the situation itself. Meaning that there's a lot of opportunity to change our behavior simply by changing the way we think about the problem and ourselves. This is where the role of a business coach can prove crucial. Coaching is not managing or rescuing. Coaching is asking good questions and guiding participants as they think through the problem and figure out what to do. Good coaching develops stronger entrepreneurs and salespeople. To help you benefit from such coaching, I invite you to join me online every week in Priya Ki Kaksha. A growing community of business owners and salespeople are coached by me from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. every Saturday morning in an online group learning session. You can enroll in these sessions by sending us an email at the address mentioned in the video description below. The monthly fee for 4 sessions is less than what you would spend in a few hours when you take your family and friends out for dinner or to the movies. You joined coaching classes to ace competitive exams. You go to the gym to strengthen your body. What about building your business acumen? Invest in yourself. Get off the treadmill of consumption, replication, and mediocrity. Begin lifting the weights of creativity, originality, and success. Join Priya Ki Kaksha today. To upskill yourself on how you can pitch your sale in a killer fashion in the bazaars of Naya Bharat, check out my course on Udemy using the link in the video description. Join weekly Priya Ki Kaksha sessions each Saturday morning for sales coaching that works. Send an email to the address given in the description to get the ball rolling. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel if you found the content useful. What are the key takeaways for you from this video? Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for joining me in Priya Ki Kaksha today. आज प्रिया की कक्षा में भाग लेने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। महाशिवरात्रि का पर्व आपके जीवन में सकारात्मकता और ढेरों खुशियां लाए। महाशिवरात्रि की आपको हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। आपका और आपके सहजनों का मंगल हो, कल्याण हो। शुभम भूयात्, जयतु भारतम।